The Chicago Bears are back in action this Thursday night against the Washington Commanders at Soldier Field on Amazon Prime. Can the Chicago Bears get a win for the first time in 2 weeks? Watch this video to find out. What's up, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing for every single Bears game this year. So if you guys want my thoughts, my predictions, and what's going to happen for each game this year, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. And I'm back, okay, pretty early because we have a Thursday game, okay? So we had a short rest, only a couple days rest, a pretty short week, which obviously sucks for the players. You don't want to play a game this early, but that's the reality of the NFL. We have Thursday games, and so what can you do about it? I'm actually going to be at this game at Soldier Field, my first game I'm going to this year, my first regular season game I'm going to this year. So if you guys see me at the game, definitely be sure to say hi. I'll be in section, I think it's like 130 something. I'll definitely post on Twitter and Instagram if you guys want to meet up, take pictures or whatever. But I will be at that game, so that means my post-game reaction will be out probably on Friday afternoon, maybe Friday evening, because obviously I'll be out that night and I'll be coming back to my house probably around, like, I don't know, midnight maybe. So be a little bit patient for the post-game reaction. I probably won't be vlogging this game because I just kind of want to go there and have fun, enjoy the moment. I will be taking some videos, which I'll be posting on my Twitter. So if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, definitely be sure to follow me at DWCProds. But putting all that aside, guys, let's talk about this matchup, okay? And this honestly might be the Chicago Bears, I don't want to say easiest matchup of the year, because any matchup for the Bears this year is probably not going to be easy per se, because we don't have a very good football team ourselves. We are, a team rebuilding this year. So even matchups against bad teams are probably going to be pretty close matchups. But guys, on paper, the Commanders are definitely one of the worst teams we are facing this entire year, okay? They're 1-4 coming off 4 straight losses. The only win that they got was against the Jaguars in week 1, and they've looked pretty bad on both sides of the football the last 4 weeks. Their head coach, Ron Rivera, actually somewhat called out Carson Wentz in saying that the quarterback position is kind of why the Commanders are not having as much success as the other NFC East teams, because obviously every other NFC East team is having a very, very good season up to this point. So it's kind of a organization, kind of a team in chaos right now. And for Chicago Bears team right now, that's coming off a pretty encouraging loss against the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously we lost that game, and there's no such thing as like moral victories in the NFL, but this kind of was a moral victory for the Chicago Bears, okay? A game in which their offense actually looked relatively decent in the second half. We had Justin Fields play his best game of the year. We were competitive on the road against a pretty good Vikings team. So the Bears are feeling pretty good right now. The Commanders really are not. But again, I'm not going to say this is going to be an easy victory for the Chicago Bears, because with the way the Bears have played so far this year, with the roster they have right now, no victory probably is going to be easy. But if there's any game in which I would hope Justin Fields and the offense would have a breakout game, it would be this one, okay, with how much the Commanders have struggled so far this year. But we'll see what happens, okay? But talking about the Commanders team more in detail, talk about their offense. First of all, give you guys a brief overview about their offense. And they rank number 19 in yards per game. They rank number 26 in points scored per game. They're the number 10 passing offense and number 28 rushing offense. So you can see here, guys, they are a heavy passing team, okay? They can't run the football up to this point this year, okay? All the workload has been on Carson Wentz's shoulders because they can't run the football, okay? And they also choose not to run the football. They're only ranked number 23 in rushing attempts per game, okay? So talking about their run game, obviously they have Brian Robinson, the rookie, coming back from getting shot in the offseason, which was a pretty insane story, okay? He got shot in the offseason. He recovered pretty fast. He's already back for the Commanders, and he was a guy that, a lot of people in the organization had high hopes for. So if he gets going, maybe the run game can be better eventually, but he's coming back slow. J.D. McKissick, Antonio Gibson have not really gotten going up to this point this year, partly because the blocking up front has not been good for the Commanders. So really no run game to speak of on this team. And talking about the passing attack, Carson Wentz, he's been turning the football over a lot so far this year, which is nothing too surprising because that's always been a big negative aspect of his game ever since he got injured. He's pretty careless with the football, okay? He already has 6 interceptions and 6 fumbles too in only 5 games, which is obviously not good, okay? If you turn the ball over this much as a quarterback, you're probably going to be losing a lot of games, as the Commanders have so far this year. Now, it's obviously not only been Carson Wentz's fault, because they don't really have a good supporting cast around him, kind of like the Bears don't have a good supporting cast around Justin Fields, but he has been pretty aggressive going down the field. So he does have 10 touchdowns, 10 passing touchdowns, and 1,390 passing yards. So he is going to be aggressive in taking chances, taking shots down the field, which occasionally might connect. Okay, maybe in this game against the Bears, he might get a few deep shots going, but he probably will also turn the ball over, okay, if the Bears can play disciplined football and get their hands on the ball. So that's their quarterback. Talking about the supporting cast now, Terry McLaurin is the centerpiece of this entire offense. Okay, he's probably the most talented player on the entire offense. He already has 326 yards and 1 touchdown, and he's been the go-to guy, obviously, for Carson Wentz because he's been producing even with bad quarterbacks. Okay, so Terry McLaurin definitely is legit. Like, he's a #1 in this league, which the Bears should be afraid of. But besides Terry McLaurin, they don't have a lot of proven things on this offense in this receiving core. Okay, Jahan Dotson, the rookie out of Penn State, probably won't be playing in this game because he got injured. Okay, so he's not practiced up to this point this week when I'm recording this video. So I'm assuming he's not going to be playing. De'Ami Brown also has not practiced so far this week. So another guy that potentially will not play. They do have Curtis Samuel, who's an all-purpose weapon for this Commanders offense. He can get some carries. He can also be a factor in the receiving game on screen passes, everything. So Curtis Samuel also is probably the second biggest weapon to look out for. But guys, besides for those two, like, I just don't see a lot of proven things on the Commanders offense. And obviously their offensive line has struggled big time up to this point this year. They've allowed 20 sacks. They've allowed the most hits on a quarterback for any team this year. Now, obviously, some of that is Carson Wentz's fault, holding on to the football a little bit too long, but the pass protection has not been good either, okay? And obviously, we have Charles Leno. We're going up against Charles Leno, left tackle in this game, who was a former Bears tackle as well. And he's been probably the best player, honestly, on this Commanders offensive line, which is saying a lot, okay, about how bad the Commanders offensive line has been for a good portion of the year. But that's their offense. Talking about their defense now, they rank number 17 in yards allowed per game, number 25 in points allowed per game, number 19 in pass defense, number 14 in run defense. And the big story about the Commanders defense is that they've been unable to generate any turnovers whatsoever this year. Okay, I'm not trying to jinx things because now obviously that I say this, you know, the Bears are going to come out and throw like 4 picks. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but they've only gotten 1 turnover the entire year. So the secondary simply is just not pouncing on the ball. They're not in the best positions to make plays on the ball, and that's really made it hard for the Commanders offense to stay in games because obviously their offense has turned the football over a lot, but they're not getting turnovers back on defense to make up for that. So not good in getting turnovers. They have gotten a decent amount of sacks though this year. They do have 14 sacks on the year, decent amount of quarterback hits too. So they can definitely get some pressure on the quarterback, mostly from the interior. Okay, this interior Commanders defensive line is pretty damn solid. Okay, they have Daron Payne, they have Montez Sweat, they have Jonathan Allen too on the defensive line. They're obviously missing Chase Young. He got injured over the offseason, so he's not going to be playing this game, thankfully for the Bears, okay, because that might be their best player on defense. But the D-line, regardless, is going to be a problem, potentially for the Chicago Bears offensive line, especially on the inside where the Bears offensive line obviously has been at their worst. So watch out for this Commanders D-line, but otherwise, you know, it's kind of a poor defense right now, okay? They're not getting stops in the red zone. They're allowing a lot of yards both on the ground and against the pass too, and it's not been a special defense up to this point, even though they have a defensive guy in Ron Rivera coaching this defense up. Let me talk about the Chicago Bears now, talking about their offense first of all. So they rank number 31 in yards per game, number 27 in points per game, number 32 pass offense, and the number 5 rushing offense. And guys, the Bears passing offense finally took some steps forward last weekend against the Vikings. Now, I'm not going to overreact to that performance because we still only had like 200-something passing yards, only 208 passing yards by Justin Fields. So that's still not like a very good performance for the passing attack, but it's progress, okay? Because before that game, the Bears passing attack showed us next to nothing the entire year. We were only getting like 150 passing yards per game at the most. So getting 200 passing yards and having a pretty good performance by our quarterback Justin Fields was a step in the right direction. I want to see if the Chicago Bears can build off of that progress, okay? In years past, whenever we had one good performance by the quarterback, by the passing offense, we took steps backwards the very next game. But I want to see, can Luke Getsy, can Justin Fields change the trend that we've been seeing in Chicago the last couple years? Obviously, we don't have a lot to work with. We still have a very poor, unproven supporting cast around Justin Fields, but maybe Justin Fields can make up for some of the deficiencies in that supporting cast like he did in the second half last game, okay? Last game against the Vikings, he actually stood in the pocket, delivered some pretty accurate balls, pretty quick balls, and also escape with his legs, okay, when there's nothing open down the field. So maybe we'll see more of that playmaking ability from Justin Fields in this game. And he may be getting some extra help in this game. N'Keal Harry actually got activated from the IR this week, so he might be playing in this game. I'm not totally sure. I think Luke Getsy was kind of hesitant on saying if he was going to play or not, so we'll see what he does. But at this point, guys, N'Keal Harry, giving him an opportunity cannot be a bad thing for the Bears offense because we're getting so little from the other receivers on this team. So why not give a former first-round pick one more opportunity to turn his career around, and maybe he does something with that opportunity, okay? Even just having, 3 catches for, 30 yards, like that would be a help on this Bears offense because nobody besides Darnell Mooney is really doing anything on this Bears receiving core. I do hope, though, that Velus Jones, the rookie, does get more involved in this game than he has been in the last 2 games because the last 2 games he's only had 1 touch on the offensive side of the football. Okay, he's been used as a return man, obviously, but for a 3rd round pick, guys, you have to be more involved in the offense. He does have kind of a limited route tree as compared to a guy like Dante Pettis, for example, but Pettis has been making a lot of mistakes over and over and over again the last couple weeks. I really hope that they give Velus Jones more of an opportunity to do something for this offense, even if it is just like manufactured touches by giving him jet sweeps or screen passes, like stuff like that, but get Velus involved in this offense. Talking about the Bears defense now, they rank number 22 in yards allowed per game, number 15 in points allowed per game, number 9 against the pass, number 31 against the run. And the big story, guys, is that Jalen Johnson, CB number 1, is going to be back for this game, okay? He's been out the last 3 weeks due to an injury, and the Bears have definitely missed him on the defensive side of the football, okay? Jalen Johnson is still not allowed a single reception up to this point this year. In the first 2 games, he was basically locked down against whoever he was covering. And, in this game, going up against a pretty good receiver in Terry McLaurin, but not having much besides that, if Jalen can take away Terry McLaurin and, hopefully Kyler Gordon, hopefully Kindle Builder can do just good enough of a job to cover the rest of the guys. The Bears secondary could be having a pretty good performance in this game, I hope. And obviously he is our best coverage guy, okay, in the entire defense. So having him on the field definitely changes how the Chicago Bears game plan, okay? They can be more aggressive. They can take more chances with Jalen Johnson back there in the secondary. You guys saw against the Vikings, the Bears were playing a pretty soft defense because they were scared of guys not being able to cover one-on-one, but Jalen Johnson definitely can cover one-on-one. So getting him back is going to be pretty big for the Bears defense. But I do have to say that the Bears pass rushers have to be providing them with more pass rush in this game, okay, and going forward. Because so far the Bears pass rush only has 8 sacks in 5 games, which is ranked among the bottom half of the league. And for a defense that doesn't blitz that much, the front 4 have to be getting home more often than they have been getting home up to this point, okay? Robert Quinn has kind of been quiet up to this point this year compared to last year. Now, obviously, last year he had a different defense. He was a part of a defense that was a little bit more aggressive, but still, you have to be getting more production than what you're getting up to this point, okay, for being one of the highest paid players on the Chicago Bears defense. Travis Gibson has flashed a lot the last couple weeks, but he has to be a little bit faster, okay? He's getting really close to getting insane game-changing plays. Like last game against the Vikings, he was probably 0.3 seconds away from getting a sack and a forced fumble against Kirk Cousins. He was also pretty close to getting home on other occasions too, but that's the thing about the NFL, guys. It's a game of inches, a game of seconds, and you have to get there on time, and hopefully we can do that in the future. But that is the Bears defense. Let me talk about the 3 keys to a Bears victory now, okay? How can the Chicago Bears win this game? And key number 1 is going to be to make Carson Wentz uncomfortable early on in this game. As I mentioned, guys, Carson Wentz is pretty careless with the football, okay? That's just his style of play. He's pretty reckless. Sometimes it works for him, sometimes it does not. But if you get pressure in his face early on and often, okay, if you hit him often throughout this game, if you get pressure on the outside, if you take away his number 1 read, bait him into making some pretty bad throws, the Bears could come away from this game with having a lot of interceptions. There may be some game-changing interceptions on the defensive side of the football. And that's going to be big, guys, for Chicago Bears offense that has struggled big time this year, okay, to get extra possessions in this game. And I'm confident, guys, with the hits principles, with how much Coach Velus has been stressing getting turnovers, we could be seeing some in this game. He also went up against Carson Wentz every single day last year in Indianapolis, okay? They were together, okay? Obviously, Eberflus was the defensive coordinator. Carson Wentz was the quarterback of the Colts, and obviously, Eberflus and Allen Williams, they went up against that quarterback every single day of practice, so they know his, tendencies, they know how he operates, they know what his weaknesses are, what his strengths are, and hopefully they can use that to their advantage to rattle him, get him uncomfortable early on in this game. So that's key number one. Getting to key number two, then that is going to be to continue to build off that passing game performance from Justin Fields in the last game. I don't want to see us go ultra conservative now after how good of a passing performance Justin Fields had in the last game. Okay, we only had 21 pass attempts. Obviously, some of the pass attempts turned into runs because Justin Fields had to escape from the pocket. But regardless, we still aren't really passing the football a lot up to this point this year. But I want to see if we can be a little bit more aggressive in this game against a Commanders defense that is probably one of the worst we will face this year. Now, their defensive line actually can be pretty solid. So they maybe will get some pressure on Justin Fields. They will be probably stopping a run game to a higher extent than the other teams have because they do have guys on the inside that can, plug up those running lanes. And, that could make it pretty difficult for the Bears to run the football. But against the pass, okay, they have been showing weaknesses. Okay, they have been allowing big plays going down the field. And I want to see if the Bears can continue to build off of that, because they did that last game against the Vikings in that second half. Now, the big thing here, guys, is going to be to finish drives with touchdowns, which is going to be my third key to a Bears victory, okay? Finish drives with touchdowns. Be efficient in the red zone, because we haven't been efficient the last couple of games and really the entire season. We've kicked a lot of field goals in the red zone, which is obviously not what you want to do, okay, if you want to be a great offense in this league. And against a Washington Commanders team, okay, that's pretty bad in the red zone, you should be seeing increased efficiency in the red zone. And I want to see us use a variety of different plays in the red zone. Okay, so far it has been a lot of running the football in the red zone. I want to see us passing the football a little bit more in the red zone. Also take advantage of Justin Fields' legs in the red zone. Okay, threaten defenses with his speed, his ability to run with the football. Also use guys like Velus Jones more in the red zone. Last game against the Vikings, we used him once in the red zone and resulted in a touchdown on that end around play. So maybe try out more variations of that play or other plays that involve a guy like Velus Jones. And maybe if N'Keal Harry is back for this game, give him some, jump balls in the red zone, because he is a tall guy. He's a big guy that we currently don't have on the team. And maybe he can win some jump balls for you in the red zone and hopefully score a touchdown. Let me get to my prediction for this game now. Who do I have win this game? And I have the Chicago Bears on primetime television against the Commanders, coming out of there with a win by the score of 24-20. Now, I have it being a lot closer than some Bears fans have it being, because I don't think the Bears are going to blow out any opponent this year. And even winning this game probably is going to be tough for the Bears, because we just don't have the talent to be overwhelming our opposition. Okay, even if Justin Fields has a good game, we might not score a whole amount of points because we probably don't have the talent surrounding him. But if there's any game in which I hope Justin Fields can have his breakout, it is this one, okay? A pretty bad Commanders defense that is kind of in chaos right now with their head coach calling out their quarterback, with their quarterback turning the ball over so much. And it's just, they're not a team that has any sort of direction right now. The Chicago Bears, even though we have a lack of talent, we do have a direction, which Eberflus is creating this year, okay? We're creating a culture that everybody has seemingly bought into, and eventually that's going to turn into wins. And hopefully against a bad Commanders team, I think that's going to result in a win for the Chicago Bears, okay? I think our defense is going to get a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz. I do have us forcing a couple turnovers in this game because, guys, at Soldier Field, we have been pretty solid, especially defensively, and against a quarterback like Carson Wentz, this is the opportunity to pounce on those bad balls, okay? Especially being at home on primetime television. Maybe we see, a 2018 style of performance, okay? I'm not trying to put too high of expectations on this defense, but we could get a decent amount of turnovers in this game with how much Carson Wentz has been turning the football over. As for my offensive MVP for this game, I'm choosing Justin Fields, man. QB1, he had a pretty good performance last weekend against the Vikings. I think he builds off of that for this game, because right now I really see that Justin Fields is playing with confidence for the first time the entire year. It seems like the playbook is coming to him a lot more easier. He's, seeing pressure in the pocket. He's throwing darts from the pocket. If he can continue to do that in this game, okay, even if there is pressure on him, there's going to be opportunities to take the deep shot down the field to Darnell Mooney, to other guys hopefully on this team. And if he does that, he could have a pretty solid stat line in this game, even if he only score like 24 points. So hopefully Justin Fields does have a breakout in this game, and I think he will be the offensive MVP of the team. And as for my defense MVP, Eddie Jackson, okay, against a quarterback that's turned the ball over a lot so far this year, that's a mismatch in favor of the Chicago Bears, because Eddie is back to his 2018 self, man. Up to this point this year, he already has 3 interceptions. He has a forced fumble too, and I really think he has the opportunity to maybe even take one back to the house in this game. I'm not going to predict that right now, but I do think he gets one interception in this game to add to his list of turnovers that he's already gotten this year. But yeah, guys, it's basically the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Can the Chicago Bears win this game? What do you guys think the score of the game is going to be? Are you going to this game? If so, I would love to meet up with you, talk about Bears football, whatever. But I cannot wait, man, for this game. I'm really hoping, I'm really praying that the Chicago Bears offense and Justin Fields can have that breakout game and maybe even score 30 plus points. I'm not going to predict that right now because until I see it, I can't predict it. But I'm feeling kind of hopeful, man, for this game. And I really hope the Chicago Bears don't let me down. Leave your thoughts down below. And as always, bear down.